Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we're taking a look at the Hogue Deka, as you can see here before you. Like most of the things I do on this channel, I'm very many years late to the party on this one, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to do this review, honestly, because this knife has been reviewed a lot, and I've had this knife for over a year. Heck, by the time you guys see this video, it's going to be more than that, and you know, I kind of debated, do I really need to review this knife? I did an edge-to-edge with this knife versus the Benchmade Bug Out. Remember when I used to do edge-to-edge videos? Maybe I should do some more of those. But, you know, I didn't know if I wanted to review. But finally I decided that, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and review this guy. Because it is a knife that I do like. And I've never reviewed a Hogue before, so we might as well do it, right? So, let's go ahead and get in with our blade length measurements, and then we'll go into our size comparisons. Blade length on this guy is coming in at, 3¼ inches, pretty much on the dot. Good, good, good. That's a size I know a lot of people like. This puts this knife in kind of the lower tier of the medium-sized knife range for me. Let's compare it against our rats. There's the 1. There's the 2. So yeah, medium-ish size. Medium-ish. Medium-ish. For some reason, that sounds kind of like an Arabic meal. Medium-ish. I don't know. Just talking out of my butt. Alright, here's the Benchmade Bug Out and the Spyderco PM2. So, Benchmade Bug Out Hogue Deka, it's a comparison that's been made very many times, including by yours truly. So, there we go. We won't talk about that too much in this review because I feel like it's already been beaten to death. And let's go against our Elementums. Our Civivis, there's the Elementum. And here's the Praxis. Yep, pretty close to the Elementum in size. And to wrap off our size comparisons, let's go ahead and pull out, just for the heck of it, here's the CJRB Scoria. And what else should we do? Why not? Here's the Demco 8020.5. Cool, cool, cool. Hopefully, you have experienced at least one of the knives I compared this guy against, and you have a good idea of how big it is. So, what are we looking at here in terms of materials? So, we have a blade here that, I think they call this a drop point. To me, this is kind of more of a clip point, but I totally get why they call it a drop point. I don't know, we'll call it a drop clip. Drop clip blade of 20 CV. See it right there. Designed by Elishowitz. I always have a tough time saying that name, so just bear with me. We have scales that are what's called G-Mascus. So basically it's just layers of G10. You can even see it on the back here, kind of in cross-section. You can see those layers. So in black, it's black and blue in this case. G-Mascus, kind of like Damascus, you know. And we have a crossbar lock that Hogue calls the Able Lock. Pocket clip, reversible, it's a steel clip. Yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and pop on over to the cutting videos, or video, whatever. Alrighty, Hogue Deka. So, how are the ergos on this knife? Honestly, pretty good. I like the jimping up here. That's good jimping. The knife itself locks me in right where I need to be. Maybe a little bit far away from the edge, but this is not a big knife. And somehow it actually gives me that big knife confidence in hand feeling. So, you know what? I like the ergos quite a bit. You can feel the clip when you're really bearing down, but not too bad. Let's talk about the action. Whoops. Yeah, Hogue probably does the crossbar lock better than Benchmade, honestly. Just kind of a sad fact, but they do it really good. How's it carry? Pretty slim knife, pretty lightweight. The clip, I know some people don't like this clip, and yeah, it's not the most attractive, but it is reversible, which on a knife like this is a must, in my opinion. In and out of the pocket. Yeah, works good. Not like a deep carry clip or anything, but it works good. It works good. I have no problems with that. So, good carry. Let's go ahead and do some cutting. The behind the edge reading on this flat ground 20 CV blade is 25 thousandths. Just pretty thick. However, it does have a very, very slim blade. So, this kind of helps it slice better than you would think. So yeah, it's definitely a good slicer. I wouldn't say it's an amazing slicer, but it's a good slicer. All right, let's do some other cuts. So yeah. Let's do the rope first. Whoo, very nice. Hogue does great factory. Although, have I sharpened this one? Yeah, maybe, no. Did someone else sharpen this? I'm not sure. Very sharp, anyways. Ooh. So remember, this test with this, let's get a little bit lower, really crappy rope, I'm just pushing down and seeing how far I can cut into it. And, yeah, this knife is doing really good. Wow. Really, really nice. In fact, that's probably gone through that nicer than anything else I've done today. Really, really impressive. I like that. Okay, let's get the pool noodle. This is where we're going to start to feel that thickness behind the edge. Going through the cardboard, the thin blade stock really helped compensate for the thicker behind the edge measurement. With the pool noodle, we're going to start to feel that thickness maybe a little bit more. I could feel that this was a little bit thick, but you know what? That's a pretty thin little ring. So you know what? This knife did pretty well. Let's get back to the table. Alrighty, let's get into it with the Hogue Deka. Talk about what I like and what I don't like. First thing I like, this bad boy is made in the good old US of A. You can see right there, Hogue USA Deka. That's cool. I'm an American, as you guys can probably tell. Howdy, y'all. And so yeah, I like seeing things I like owning things that are made in my home country. I like that. I'm definitely gonna support that. Next thing, I think it's a pretty cool looking knife. I love the way this Damascus looks. I like the overall flow of the design. Like this blade shape. It's a good looking knife in my opinion. Absolutely. So yeah, it gets some points on the looks factor. Next thing, this knife is completely ambidextrous. You have a reversible clip, you have the able lock, dual thumb studs. Yeah, you can hand this to a right-handed person or a left-handed person. They're going to have exactly the same experience. So that's fantastic, in my opinion. And speaking of the reversible clip, they give you a little filler tab on this side. So if you're a lefty and you want to put the clip on this side, you just take that filler tab. You just drop the knife. You take that filler tab, you can put it on this side. I like filler tabs quite a bit, actually. I'm glad that they did that. That's really, really cool. Next thing, I like these thumb studs. Let's get up close and personal with them. You see they have kind of it almost looks like a biohazard sign right in the middle. They're good. They're good thumb studs. You see how they stand up. I don't know, they grip my thumb really good. They're pretty comfortable. They stick out, enough that you can get to them really well. We've got good little chamfer there. So yeah, that's really, really nice. I like the thumb studs. Next thing, the action is fantastic. It was good out of the box, and it's just broken in so well. It's running on washers, which I like. Just so smooth. Absolutely buttery. You can slow roll it if that's more your thing. Really, really nice. Love the action. Very good. Fit and finish on this guy out of the box was spot on. Perfectly centered. Solid lockup, which is something that you can't say about every Civivi, honestly, or every Benchmade. Wow, I'm just so used to bashing Civivi that anytime I say something negative about any other knife brand, my brain autocorrects it to Civivi. I'm so sorry, Civivi. I do apologize. But anyways, yeah, solid lockup, centered out of the box. The action was fantastic out of the box, and the edge was amazing. Hogue does fantastic edges. Their knives come out of the box as sharp as cold steels, and cold steels are legendarily sharp out of the box. And the Hogue knives actually have a little bit of a polish on their edge right out of the box. Cold steel knives don't have as high a polish on their edges. So yeah, that's just really, really cool. Next thing, I do want to talk about the G-Mascus specifically. This is just a really cool material, and you can get a bunch of different versions of this knife. If this G-Mascus look is a little too much for you, they also come in solid colors. I've seen black, blue, and red, I believe, as solid colors. I believe. Don't quote me on that, though. Look up for yourself the options that are available out there. But I like this stuff. It's really, really nice, and I like how they milled it. Look at all those beautiful milling lines. Absolutely gorgeous. Really, really pretty. You guys know me. I like when companies take the extra step to make their handles feel a little bit nicer instead of just G10 slabs. I like milling on my G10. I like fun little designs. And this is definitely good. And besides just looking good, it does actually give you some meaningful grip. I mean, most of the texturing area is here where your fingers kind of grab on. So yeah, that's nice. I like that a whole bunch. Next thing, this knife is a good performer. The blade is not the thinnest behind the edge. This thing is about 20 to 21 thousandths behind the edge. So it's right there at where I consider acceptable for an EDC type knife. And 20CV, I might have said this before, is actually not my favorite steel. 20CV M390. I know. I'll hear your retribution in the comments below, but the blade itself is very, very thin. In fact, let's bring out, I always use the Rat 1 when I'm comparing blade stock thickness. Yeah, very thin blade. And so that kind of compensates for the not so thin flat grind. And this knife does slice good. I didn't have any problems EDCing this. And I EDC this knife, like I said, I've had this knife for over a year. So it's been a lot of different places with me. It's gone camping with me. It's gone, to work in the mountains with me. It's been EDC'd around the house, to town, college, the ranch. It's been everywhere. And I felt like it's a very versatile knife. Having the washers means that it's very resistant to dirt and grime. So I could carry it in dirty and grimy environments, but it's also small and lightweight and compact, and that it didn't really feel out of place carrying it in my pocket on my way to a chemistry lab. So I did appreciate that. And the blade was great for kind of my lighter duty EDC stuff, opening packages, cutting an apple, breaking down cardboard. It worked just fine. And then it was also a completely fine blade for when I went to, when I went camping or stuff. I use this knife to whittle. I use this knife to cut rope. stuff like that. And yeah, it worked just fine. You can actually see that it has a stone wash, which I like. And yes, you can see some of my love marks on this blade. Let's see if we can see the stone wash better on this side. But yeah, it's a good stone wash. I like stone wash blades, especially for a working knife, and I definitely consider this to be a working knife. A knife does not have to be hard use to be a working knife. This is definitely a knife that I could see fitting into that happy medium range between, you know, super slicey EDC efficientness and, you know, robust hard use durability. And I do feel like this knife is pretty durable. Now, it only has cartridge liners, but, you know, the G-Mask is actually pretty thick. This knife feels a lot more solid than a bug out. And I like that. I really do. It's pretty great. So, yeah, absolutely. In fact, just a second. Un momento. So, yeah, I would say the Deka is kind of a good balance between something like a Cold Steel Recon 1 and a Civivi Elementum. You know, this knife is definitely meant to be very robust and hard-working, and this knife has a little more, social acceptability and super elegant, slicey efficientness. The Deka is kind of a mix between those two interpretations of a knife, and I like that. I do like that. Yeah, as far as performance goes, the blade is good. The ergos are nice too. You have this good jimping here. It's very good functional jimping. And the ergos are nice. The knife locks into your hand right here. We'll talk about the ergos a little more here in a bit, but locks into your hand really good. Like I said, you get this traction here for your fingers to grab onto. Definitely do get a good feel on this knife. And the last thing I want to talk about is the hardware. They use nice big hardware. In fact, I believe everything is T9 except for the pivot is a T8. Let me grab my bits and we can confirm that. So here we have my T... Focus. This is the T9. And it fits these body screws really well. So I'm pretty sure that the body screws are all T9. However, I think the pivot is a T8. Come here. Yeah, the pivot's a T8. Kind of wish they'd gone with T9s all the way around. Just because, you know, just so you won't have to switch drivers while you're disassembling this knife. But it's good to see them using big hardware that's not likely to strip out. And, yeah, that's always a win in my book. Even the pocket clip screws are the T9s, which, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Is an axis lock or an able lock or axis style lock knife. So maybe disassembly won't be that, you know, something you want to do. But, you know, if you do have to do it, I don't think your screws will strip out. Yeah, next thing I want to talk about is the able lock itself. The able lock is better than the axis lock, I think. It's just, it came more dialed out of the box. Very smooth, very easy to manipulate. You can even do it with one finger on one side. You know, you can't do that with all axis locks. So, yeah, definitely a big fan of the able lock. Okay, there's what I like. Let's talk about what I don't like. Okay, so on the negative side, that hardware. Whoo, boy, oh gee. Man, they didn't skimp out in the screw fairy, did they? That sentence did not come out the way it was supposed to. The screw fairy did not skimp out on it. You know what, Gideon, this is why you shouldn't try and say things that are funny or clever. You're an idiot. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of screws on this guy. This guy has been screwed from every angle possible. Might have been fun for the knife, but not so much fun for the rest of us because, yeah, there's just an annoying number of screws. I do think that they have toned... I do think that newer versions of this come with fewer screws. I think that is something they fixed, but... yeah, as it is. This is screw heaven. Okay, I'm going to stop screwing around. You guys can make all the screw jokes that you feel like making with this knife. A lot of screws. Okay. Next thing, with the ergos, you are kind of far away from the edge here. You know, you've got a good gap between your index finger and where the blade starts. And sometimes that's not a big deal, but when you do notice it, it's very annoying. You know, you're just more likely to get stuff caught in there. You do feel like you lose a little bit of control during certain tasks. Now again, there's some things where this is perfectly fine, it doesn't bother you. And they did give you a little flat area here that you can technically wrap up around like that. And I did do this. It is a grip I have used. This part here is a little bit pokey in my joints, but you can do this. So, you know, you can kind of mitigate this reach here, but it is definitely something worth mentioning. Next thing, you know, Omega springs. A lot of people are going to say, oh, your Omega springs will break, they'll shatter. Maybe. So yeah, that is definitely something that you don't want happening to you. Absolutely. Oops, missed a flick. There we go. Got it that time. Next thing, the clip is, while it is reversible, which is good, the clip is kind of meh. I don't mind that it's not deep carry. In fact, you know, especially, like I said, since this is a working knife, you might be wearing gloves while you're carrying this, so it's good to have something to grab onto. But it is just kind of an odd-looking clip. And, I mean, it works fine in and out of the pocket. It works fine, but it's not my favorite. So the clip is kind of a meh. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just kind of meh. So, yeah. Next thing, and this is a problem that I actually see more on crossbar lock knives than any other knives. If we look in there, we can see that some of the screws are sticking out just a little bit. Not the end of the world, but, you know, whatever. Just something I don't like to see, because I'm picky. And then, of course, cartridge liners. I don't feel like the strength of this knife is compromised in any way because of the cartridge liners, but there might be something that destroys your knife because it had cartridge liners, not full liners. I don't know. You do have these 3 standoffs back here that, in my opinion, really do make up the strength that full liners would have given, but, you know, some people don't like cartridge liners, so there we go. Next thing, disassembly. Crossbar lock knives are never fun to disassemble, and, yeah, it's just kind of what you get. So disassembly, not the greatest. And last thing is, what was the last thing I was going to mention? Crap, just flew my mind. I didn't take notes for this review. I remember what it was. It was a lanyard hole. I feel like that lanyard hole is just kind of random. And if, you know, I don't put lanyards on very many knives, but I do put lanyards on some knives. And so if I had a lanyard here, I feel like it would kind of, like, I feel like this is a good location for it, but having it set up the way it is right here, I feel like that you just feel that in your hand a lot. So I think what they should have done is made this standoff right here a lanyard post. I mean, you can still use it as a lanyard post even now, but maybe, you know, put a lanyard pin in there, kind of like, do I have that knife around here somewhere? Yeah, here it is. Kind of like on the CJRB Rhea, they have this little swiveling post here. Of course, you know, make it maybe a little bit bigger for this knife, but I think that would have been a better option. And that's where I'm going to leave off on negatives. That's all I have. So let's go on to my final conclusions. Final conclusions, I like this knife a lot. I really do. What's the price? You can get these knives for less than 150 bucks. That is a great deal. You're getting a premium steel, CPM 20CV. Again, not really my favorite steel, but you know what? It is a premium steel. You're getting a premium steel for that price, which is really, really nice. You're getting good build quality. Again, this knife out of the box was pretty much perfect. You're getting made in the USA. Made in the USA usually carries a price tag. This knife, not so much, and I think that's really, really great. So yeah, definitely a good value bang for your buck. It's also a functional knife, completely functional. Yes, it's not the thinnest behind the edge, but it's very slicey, got a nice thin blade. You can use it in a variety of environments, in my opinion. You can carry it to church, you can take it camping. You know, the washer construction, the overall build makes it just good, equally at home. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak today. This good knife for many places. There we go. That's what we have to say. This knife fits into a variety of roles and environments. I think that's good. It's also completely ambi. It's great for left-handed people and right-handed people. And I think that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. The one-hand operation of the knife is very good, very smooth. I like that in my working knives. The able lock is just so buttery smooth. And something I forgot to point out is you could see that the able lock is actually the same as a thumb studs in terms of like the design. So the thumb studs are good. You know, these thumb studs, I can get them like right there on the top. Send them out, or I can get them, you know, kind of more from the side. And just that texturing on them, whoops, a little bit hard to do this under a camera. There we go. Makes it easy for you to grab onto the axis lock, able lock, and manipulate it like that. And yes, by the way, I mean, I don't even think I have to say this anymore, but the axis lock patent expired for Benchmade, so other companies can use the crossbar lock mechanism now. So, yeah, definitely a good ambidextrous knife. The ergos are pretty good. One of the things that I always appreciate about crossbar lock or a back lock or something over a liner lock or frame lock is that you get the same exact outline on both scales without compromising access to the lock. And that's good because your hand just wants to wrap around that. It doesn't want anything poking up in the way here. So ergos are completely fine. You can choke up if you need to. I like this knife. You have a good price. This knife is a very solid user knife. It fits into a lot of different roles. I feel like it can make a lot of different people happy. Lefties, righties, hard use people, light use EDC people. I'm not saying this is going to take the place of a hard use knife like this. I'm not saying that it's going to take the place of a super slicey, more gents carry knife, such as that Rhea. What I am saying though is it's a pretty balanced design, pretty balanced knife, and I like it a lot. Not to mention, made in the good old US of A. So that's going to be it. That's going to be the end of this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I've been Gideon. Bye.